I know you're here today because you're probably feeling frustrated by your Shopify store theme and how it's so bloody difficult to customize, which is why today I'm going to show you how to fully customize your Shopify store using Gempages Page Builder. We'll cover how to create a page from scratch and make it mobile friendly, and for those of you who like your website already, I'll show you how you can create custom sections which you can then insert into an existing page that you created with your theme. By the end of this video, you'll know how to create any layout you can possibly imagine without having to pay for overpriced themes or hiring random developers that often create more problems than solutions. Alright, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is create a new page. And just for the sake of this lesson, I've mocked up a redesign on Adobe XD, so this isn't actually a real website, it's just a design. And this is what we're going to be recreating today. So to get started, you want to create a new page. First thing that they show you is templates, so you don't have to start from scratch. Apparently, the templates available on Gempages is CRO optimized, which just means that it's been trialed and tested to optimize conversions and sales. But we are going to start from scratch to make sure that you know all the basics to be able to build your own design. So it does take a little while to load. Essentially, this is where you're going to be building your page. So to take you through the interface, I'm going to call this the canvas. And why is it called the canvas? Because this is the main area where we're going to be building the page. Over here on the left, this is where you're going to get the elements of that page. So essentially, you have to drag and drop it into the canvas. It's time to create the hero section. And whenever I want to create a section, the first thing I drag in is always a single row. And then if I look at my design, I can see that there's two columns. All the text and the button is on the left-hand side. So I'm going to click this button again to go back to the elements. And then I'm going to drag this row. And if I click this drop element here button, I can add a heading. I can also add another paragraph here. And then I want to add a button, like so. On the right-hand side, we've got an image. So I'm going to grab an image and drag it there. This is the wrong font. So what I can do is click on the element and change it to heading 1 and change the font size 40 pixels. I can also click show more to see what other options there are, and I'm going to transform it to completely uppercase because this is looking a bit tight. I can go advanced and add a spacing at the bottom. So I'm going to add 24 pixels there, and I can also add 24 pixels down here, and I'm going to make this 11 pixels. So I'm going to go settings. It's already on paragraph. I want this to be 11. It's not very readable, but again, keep in mind this is just an example. I wouldn't follow these font sizes because they're just not up to standard. So I'm just going to change this button text to shop now. And I'm already quite happy with how this is and how when you hover over it, it turns gray, also with the colors and everything too. But if I really wanted, I could click on the button and I can change the hover. The Homu branding doesn't have a border radius for their buttons, so I'm going to change that to 0. But you can see how easy it is to edit things already, right? Like it's just a matter of playing around with the settings and figuring out where things are. Okay, we're almost there. I'll show you something handy. You can right-click and open layer tree. It's a little window that shows all the elements being nested together. The elements here that are in white, they're the ones that you can edit. If you hover over the elements, it'll show you which one you're editing. So in this case, it's this one. And what I want to do is I want to align all the items to the bottom. And now it's way too close to the bottom. You can click on the section and go advanced, and looks like there's already a padding. So if I go settings, background, change the color to that, we don't actually want that padding, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. And then I'm gonna add a margin to this, or maybe 24. Copy and paste the text in. So for this tutorial, it won't be exactly like the design because I just want to keep this as short as possible. Can change the image like that. Whoops, and that's still not right yet because this is boxed in and we want it to take up the entire thing. It must be this column that is boxing it in, and I can make this full width. So when I stretch it out like that, and again, it's not working. So let's just keep trying to see what's wrong. And there it is. It's this 2 column that's the issue. We've got that little gap here, and you can just hover and you can bring it up like that. And I'm just going to add a padding of 40 pixels only on the left-hand side. And because I'm a perfectionist, I'm just going to edit this really quickly, make it bold. And for this, I'm going to add a little bit of padding and make the height a little shorter. That button should be 11 pixels, just like that, and make it uppercase. Click on the section, go to advanced, and then go to the border. So I want it to be solid, and I don't want the right and left. I just want the top and bottom, and I want the weight to be 1. And of course, I can also add it to the image. So let's click on that, advanced, border. So do exactly the same thing, insert the correct color, and then I can zero everything except for the left-hand size. We can do the next section in a very, very similar way. So again, I always start with the row. So drag and drop. I'm just going to close this for now. Because these are columns within a single column, what I can do is I can add a heading on top of it, just like that. And now you can see why it's always useful to have an outer container. So because I'm lazy, I'm going to right-click this heading that we created before. I'm going to copy style, and then I'm going to paste style on this element. So you can see how handy this is, right? Like each section we build will get faster and faster because we can copy and paste the styles. So we're gonna change the size to 24 pixels, and then we're gonna center align it like this. And then for each column, we need to add a background. Because that's not possible, we have to add another row within it like this. And then we can add a background image to that single column. So let's upload our images. And before we do it for all 4 of these, let's finish this one first, because then we can copy and paste it across all the elements. So we've got that background image there. All we need to do is copy and paste this button. Paste element. Whoops, and I pasted it into the wrong place. So what I can do is hover over these dots and then drag and drop it to the correct place. And of course, this is not what we want. So let's go to the settings, and if I'm not wrong, we can align it to center, pull up the layer tree. What we can do to align this to the bottom is we can click on the button, go advanced, and then add a top margin. So we can use one of the presets, or we can enter, I'm just gonna put 220. So it gives this a little bit of height. So let's go back. What we can do now is actually duplicate and then carry it over to the next one, like so. And so let's change these pictures really quickly. And then add a bit of padding to the top and bottom. Let's make it 65 by 65. And then let's add a little bit of padding at the bottom here too. And of course, let's change the background color. So you got this. You've selected the section. Go to settings. And change the color here. The next section actually has a product in it. So instead of creating a whole section, let's take our hard work from before. Open Layer Tree, select the section, and I'm actually going to duplicate it like that. And then what I'm going to do is move it down. So you can actually drag and drop the entire section and drop it down here. I can actually swap these columns around using the editor. Yep. And then I can swap it around like that. Yeah, there it is. So let's get rid of that. It's full size now, and we can replace this image. And then all we have to do is modify this text. So then if we go copy style, and then paste. Let's get rid of these because we don't need them. And I don't want this at the bottom. Just getting distracted now. So gonna align this to top. Actually, make it middle. And then section settings, let's try product list. There we go. And now it's showing 4 products, which is not what we want. Make it a slider, actually, to keep things interesting. And then we can put 1 product per row. Can set it to autoplay. Unclick full width. And I'm going to change this width to, let's make it 300. You can actually modify the style of the product titles and all the elements here. We can even delete them if we want. Get rid of this variant, and then we can make this a little smaller. 11 pixels. Make everything 11 pixels. Again, this is way too small, so please do not follow the convention that I'm using. Make this 12 and 12. So it's really easy. I'm pretty sure you get the point after this. This isn't the right product, so I can open Layer Tree again, go to the product list, and I can choose a collection. So I can pick a collection. I'm gonna find Suki. There we go. And now I've automatically got everything in the Suki collection just rolling through, which is pretty amazing. And then we're almost there. We've got 2 sections left, guys. The next one is a product carousel. So again, I'm going to be efficient. Let's duplicate the section that we know we're happy with and drag it all the way down here. And then what you can do from there is drag another row in. So I'm just gonna take this product list, duplicate it, and then bring it down here. But instead of only showing 1, we're gonna show 4. And we're gonna make the width, let's make it percentage, actually. And so we can, again, let's go open Layer Tree. And let's delete that part. And let's change the collection here because Suki only has 4 items. So let's pick a featured collection. There we go. That's more like it. And what we can do is keep it as a slider. We want it to autoplay with an infinity loop. We want it to drag to scroll, and we want some navigation at the bottom. So let's turn that on. You can also change the color of the dots, which is amazing, and you can change the spacing. So let's make it 20 pixels only, or maybe that's too big. Let's make it 14 actually, and let's see what that looks like full screen. Aha, there we go. That is looking very, very nice indeed. Apologies if there's some inconsistencies. Guys, it stopped recording. Essentially, we're done with the desktop view. It looks pretty much like the mock-up, except there is one problem. When you go to mobile view, it looks absolutely shit. On Gempages, they do allow you to change up the settings for each device. So that's where this part comes in handy. You would click on the mobile view, and then you'd click on the element you're interested in editing. So for example, this one, Mitsuki. So that's a little too big here. Let's change it to 40 pixels. If I go to desktop view, you can see that it's still 24. And if you go to mobile, it's still 40. So let's change this to 24 pixels because that's what we want. And this should be 11 pixels. So let's change it there. Another good example is if I want this image on top of this writing. So if you look at on desktop, the image is on the right hand side. So naturally, when you squish it down to mobile, it will end up at the bottom of the writing, which is not what we want. So what you can do instead is go to mobile view. You can select the row. This one. Yep. And then you can actually swap it back like this. But then if you go back to desktop, you can see that it's still in its place without being affected. So similarly, this looks a little squished. So I'm just going to add some padding on top, just like that. So now your section is responsive. It looks good on desktop and mobile. Remember to check tablet view. That's something that everyone misses all the time. So you can see it doesn't look great. So let's just change this up to 24 pixels. Let's make this 11, just like the rest of the site, and also make this 11. So now, if you're happy with how it looks on all the devices, you can actually copy it across to all the similar elements on the website. What if you actually like your homepage already, but you just want to add a new section, but your theme just doesn't have what you had in mind available? So what you can do from here is you can click on a section that you want to insert. You can right-click, go Save Section, and I'm just going to call it Home Collections, just like that, and hit Save. So now that section is saved in your library. So now what you can do is, I'm just going to close this up, and I'm going to go to Online Store. You can't use any of your old themes, unfortunately. So you just have to go with the live one, go Customize, Add Section. You can see the Save section from Gempages come up. So you just have to insert it right there. And there we go. That's all you have to do. I'm not going to hit Save because Homu probably wouldn't be very happy about that. So let's just delete that because I want to show you another way of creating sections without having to do a whole page. So again, go back to Apps, go back to Gempages, and then you can go Create Theme Section. And then I'm just going to make something real quick. So go to Elements, Row. I'm going to add a title, for example, and also I'm going to add a product carousel and say that I'm happy with this. This is the new section exactly how I want. I'm going to hit Save and Publish. And also remember this name, Section March 20. And just to check, yep, this is right there. So then if I go to Online Store and I hit Customize, I can literally just add a new section and look for it, and it should load up. So you can see how easy it is to create your own sections on Gempages without the limitations of your theme, and then insert it into your existing page, so then you don't actually have to change the whole thing. Okay, so now you have all the tools you need to bring your dream website to life without having to pay for overpriced themes or even developers. But what if you wanted to customize your product page, which is arguably one of the most important pages, especially when it comes to conversion rate optimization and increasing those sales? I've made a dedicated video to show you how to do it. You can check it out right here, and I'll see you in the next one.